If you cannot hear me or the slide ni hang ke apa, please let me know. Saya dekat office hari ni, the internet connection is quite bad.
Boleh doktor, sorry.
Okay, alright. Sebab pagi tadi ada meeting pun asyik tersekat-sekat so please let me know and stop me lah kalau tersekat or tak dengar. Okay, so Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. For today, we'll continue with topic number 4, which is capital market. And before we move on to this topic, so well done to you. I've checked your quiz interest topic. So the highest is 10 marks. Ada ramai juga dapat 10. So ada 8, 9, 10. So very good score lah. So for today, at the end of the lecture, I think saya set at 4. Later today at 4 o'clock, you are going to have another quiz for foreign exchange market that will be available for 1 week until next Monday before 11 midnight. So you have 1 week, so sempat lagi lah nak study nak apa tomorrow but starting today and 20 minutes. The quiz is 20 minutes. So macam biasalah our quiz, I will give you 1 week and you have 20 minutes to answer. Alright, for this topic, capital market also quite a lengthy topic. We're gonna need 2 weeks for this topic because we're going to cover 2 types of elements under the capital market. So last week we talked about money market. So I hope by now you all already understand what does it mean by money market, whereby we listen or you are introduced to different types of money market instruments, which are mostly short-term instruments. So for today we have capital market. So there's a difference between money market and capital market, right? So money market including forex market. So for today, capital market will be focusing on equity market and also bond market. So maybe by now you should understand when we talk about money market, we're talking about the short-term instruments, the money market instruments, and when we talk about capital market, pasaran modal, capital market, so we're talking actually about equity and also bond market, right? So these are the chapter content. I might stop after we finish equity and bond market will be continued next week, or tengoklah maybe somewhere here we can stop and continue next week for the bond market, because to finish everything is quite lengthy. And under the equity market environment, we're going to look at the development, the regulatory structure, and the performance indicator, the different types of markets, the role of institutions, and also the features of common stock, and also factors affecting and also the risk of investing in stock market. All right, if you see this common stock, I'm not sure whether you are familiar with it, because this is terms used by the US. So in Malaysia, kita tak pakai common stock. We are referring to common stock as ordinary share. Okay, same thing. Right, so in the US, they use common stock and preferred stock. In Malaysia, we have ordinary shares and preference share. So we'll go into detail when we move to common stock topic. So for now, we're going to look at the general development and also the regulatory structure. All right, so again, what is capital market? It is actually a market for raising long-term fund. Remember, the money market is actually for the short-term fund. So this money market is actually for long-term funds or long-term financial market. So we have 2, equity market and bond market. So equity, when we talk about equity, we're talking about stocks and shares where there is no fixed maturity period. And when we talk about bond market, bond is actually something or securities and deal with public and private debt securities. Ini beza dia lah. Like equity is for equity, stocks, and bond is for debt with a maturity of more than 1 year. Okay, but for equity market, normally there is no fixed maturity period, right? So why do we need capital market? Okay, so again, when we look at the different types of markets under capital markets, equity and also the bond market, so we must understand what is the purpose of capital market. So first of all, it assists the process of economic development by mobilizing medium and long-term funds, right? The focus here is medium and long-term funds. To fund private investment and finance, public development program, and also to help banking system in securitizing their assets, and also provide intermediary services to promote the private enterprise, to the companies to raise funds for their corporate investment and also expansion, and also changing the structure of companies. All right, so we are going to look at that later. All right, so the role of capital market, why do we need this capital market, and why do we need this equity and also bonds? For example, first of all, for our key economy, equity funding through venture capital and Nasdaq market, okay. Small medium enterprise equity funding through second board and also the Nasdaq market. Privatization and infrastructure projects, okay, this is where the bonds comes in, and also we have Islamic capital market, the availability of Sharia compliant debt and securities. So like what we gone through in, I think, topic 1, we talk about Islamic capital market or the Islamic banking product, and how do Islamic capital market actually grows in Malaysia. So that is why we need also Islamic capital market to make all these Islamic investment products readily available. Okay. So a bit on the differences between money market and capital market. All right. So money market rapidly adjusts liquidity position. So here the capital market as a link between surplus and deficit. So the secondary market is very strong for money market, and for capital market is rather weak. Volume of transaction, money market is high, capital market is quite low. Default risk, money market lower, but capital market higher. Different financial institution, for money market, central bank and commercial bank, remember kita buat money market instruments kan? Kita ada treasury bills lah, kita ada repos. So the function ataupun the financial institution involved are actually central bank and commercial banks. But for capital market, there are a wide variety of financial institutions, termasuk investment banks. So the volume of financial instruments for money market is quite low, but for capital market is high. All right, let's look at the first one, equity market. Again, this is a capital market. We're focusing on the long term. So when we talk about equity market, this is actually the long-term investment with potential for capital growth. It represents part ownership by the investor in a particular company. The ownership entitles the investor to a portion of the company's profit through dividends and also share of failure of the business. So ini yang saya kata tadi lah, the types of share in ordinary share and preference share. So in US, they refer this one as common stock. Right, and this one as preferred stock. Sama je konsep dia, nama je dia lain. Alright, so here equity market is when you purchase another company's share. Okay, so you own the company, so tu dia kata tadi ownership, ada ownership. And the company will pay you their profit in terms of dividend. Dividend kalau they make profit, kalau they make loss, you are not getting any dividend. Sebab tu kita kata kat sini also share the failure of the business, right? You can buy both common shares or common stock or ordinary shares, and also preference shares. So equity market in Malaysia, the background. Alright, so when we talk about equity market, we are actually talking about, okay, saya highlight dekat sini, KLSE. So maybe pernah dengar KLSECE. Ini zaman dulu punya lah. So when we it started in 1973, saya pun boleh lahir lagi, KLSE trace its history, incorporated in Malaysia for listing and trading in Stock Exchange of Singapore. And then in the 1980s, we have KLCE, Commodity Exchange. All right. And then in 1995, we have Malaysian Monetary Exchange. It was set up to provide fixed income derivatives. 1999, 1998 ni, kita ada Nasdaq. Nasdaq stand for Malaysian Exchange for Securities Dealing and Automated Quotation. Nama pendek dia is Nasdaq lah. So e-commerce trading. And in 2001, they merged pula to become MDEX, the Malaysian Derivatives Exchange Market. So Nasdaq joined KLSE Group until 2005. So 2005, listed on the main board of Bursa Malaysia Securities. So all Malaysia's capital market institution brought under one umbrella of KLSE. Okay. And eventually the name changed to Bursa Malaysia. Dulu kita pakai KLSE, Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange. So now kita dah tukar lah, dia jadi Bursa Malaysia. Alright, regulatory bodies. So regulatory bodies, sebelum ni kita dah tengok kita ada central banks. So for capital market ni, we have a few regulatory bodies that involve in the investment of regulatory structure. For example, Securities Commission. We have Company Commission of Malaysia atau Register of Company. Surajaya Syarikat. We have Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. We have Ministry of Finance and also what we call a Foreign Investment Committee. So these are the regulatory bodies that regulate our capital market in Malaysia. Alright, SC. Mungkin tengok or you live nearby SC dekat Bukit Kiara. So this is the logo, a very good place. You can try for internship juga dekat sini and you can try to have a career here. It's a very good institution. Semua orang tahu especially people in the banking and finance. So if you work in SC, wow, this is a very good place for you. Good pay, good place. Established on March 1st, 1993 as part of initiative under the 6th Malaysia Plan, lama Malaysia ni. It reports to the Ministry of Finance and table the accounts to the Parliament annually. So membership, 9 members appointed by the Ministry of Finance. So in SC, we have executive chairman, deputy chief executive, and also representative from both private sector and also government sector. Okay, so what does SC do? SC is actually a single body. So in Malaysia, kita ada satu body ni, which is SC, yang nama dia Securities Commission. Bukan security guard tu, securities, we're talking about securities lah. So by now, we learn about securities. Kita dah tahulah securities, kita ada macam-macam kan. So this is the body that regulates and promotes the development of the capital market. So very simple, dengar very simple. So dia yang regulate the equity and also kita punya bond market ni. SC yang jaga. Alright, so these are basically the functions of SC. We can say that SC promote and maintain fair, efficient, secure and transparent securities and future market to facilitate the orderly development and innovative and competitive capital market. Of course, because we don't want a capital market that is easily collapsed or a capital market that is not regulated. So we have SC, satu body yang memang regulate lah. So SC ni will come up with dia bagi license even later on when you get your RFP tu, RFP is actually given by MFPC and MFPC dapat license from SC. So SC dia bagi license pada traders, pada brokers dia bagi license. And also dia juga yang classify the different types of company whether company ni scam ke tidak ke, company yang dia blacklist from trading. So semua ni done by SC. Because some companies nanti later kita tengok we talk about money laundering kan, nampak macam okay apa business dia tak tahu tapi duit ada so the business sebenarnya business yang illegitimate lah, business yang haram so ini pun under the purview of SC juga. Okay, so in order to promote and maintain this fair, efficient and transparent securities market ni, number one, SC license and supervise all licensed person. So if you are a certified financial advisor apa semua ni, those are actually licensed, provide and supervised by SC. Tak ada lesen turun dari langit, tak ada mesti go through examinations apa semua conducted by SC. Regulate all matters relating to unit trust scheme pun SC jaga. Supervise exchanges, clearinghouse and central depositories. Regulating all matters relating to securities and future contract. Development of the capital market and also regulate the takeover and mergers of company. Alright, so this is basically the function of SC. Banyak benda yang dia buat lah. So it's a good place to start somewhere. So you can go to SC website if you're looking for your internship place later. Boleh tengok dekat sini dia ada advertise juga. Number 2 is Bursa Malaysia. Okay, saya terus letak the logo macam yang ni kan. So you know ini adalah SC. So we come to Bursa. So this is the logo Bursa Malaysia. Exchange Holding Company, okay, approved under Section 15 of the Capital Market Services Act 2007. Okay, consists of several subsidiaries under the purview of the SC juga and the Ministry of Finance. So this body or this regulatory body, they report directly to the Ministry of Finance. It is an exchange that provides facilities for both retail and institutional investors to buy and sell securities. Nak beli saham, nak jual saham, all these are actually facilities ni provided by Bursa Malaysia, including financial products such as shares, loan stock, debenture stocks, warrants, and also bond. So these are the tools included under capital market. So ini semua dijaga products ni, the exchange ni. Bursa provides the facility for this. Okay, this is the structure for Bursa. Kita nampak tak kat sini, we have Ministry of Finance. So ni semua report ke Ministry of Finance. We have SC, Bursa report to SC, SC report to Ministry of Finance. Later on, later part, we learn about Labuan, Labuan Financial Services Authority. This is under offshore market. So under Bursa Malaysia, these are the subsidiaries. We have Bursa Malaysia Securities, Bursa Malaysia Derivative, Bursa Malaysia Depository, Bursa Malaysia Bonds, Bursa Malaysia Derivative Clearing, Securities Clearing. So all these are considered as subsidiaries under Bursa Malaysia. So they take care of, for example, this one take care of the securities. So this one take care of the derivative. This one take care of bonds. And we also have Labuan, Labuan International Financial Exchange, LFX. So this is offshore market. We'll be dealing with this in the next chapter, offshore market. Okay, so this is basically the different functions of Bursa Malaysia. So under Bursa Malaysia, we have a few subsidiaries. For example, we have Bursa Malaysia Securities. So what does this Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad do? Incorporated in 2003, they provide, operate and maintain a securities exchange. We have Bursa Malaysia Derivative. Bursa Malaysia Derivative incorporated in 1993 to provide, operate and maintain a futures and options exchange. We have Bursa Malaysia Derivative Clearing Berhad. So they maintain a clearing house for the futures and option exchange. Those are very technical. And we have Bursa Malaysia Depository, maintain central depository for securities listed on the securities exchange. Okay, depository nominees pun ada. Nominee for Bursa Malaysia to receive securities on deposit or for safe custody of management. Bursa Malaysia Securities Clearing House, clearing sendirian berhad. They provide clearing house for the securities exchange. And Bursa Malaysia Information Sendirian Berhad. I'm not sure whether in your slide you can see. Yang ni warna hitam ni saya dah update dekat sini. So it is a Bursa Malaysia Information Sendirian Berhad. They provide and disseminate prices and other information relating to securities quoted on exchange within the group. We also have Bursa Malaysia Islamic Services to maintain Sharia compliant commodity trading platform. So as you can see under Bursa Malaysia, the securities, it is actually divided into Sharia and also non-Sharia, and it is very convenient now that you can actually trade using your phone, but you have to start by it's not a tedious process, but first of all you have to have a CDS account, Central Depository. Ni yang CDS ni tadi, mana tadi? Security depository ni. Okay, so you have to have a CDS account dulu. Kena buka account. In order for you to open the account, you need at least 500 ringgit in the account, trading account. Kena ada at least 500 ringgit. And then kena register dekat bursa market, bursa securities ni, Bursa Malaysia ni. Then only you can trade. So in order for you to trade, there are a few steps that you have to follow. But now you can trade using, once everything is ready, the link account dah link dengan, contoh you have Maybank account, kita set satu premier account untuk CDS ni, link to CDS account, so duit semua dekat dalam Maybank. So when you want to trade, you can trade. Saya tak check lagi hari ni, the price is not that good nowadays. So kita ada all the technical and fundamental analysis that I talked to you about last week. Ada the trading. Later, if we have time, I can share with you a bit lah on the trading activities ni, because all these are actually managed by Bursa Malaysia. Okay. So in the Bursa Malaysia ni, we have a few, we call it a market. What type of market or what type of company actually listed under this board. So first of all, we have main market. Dulu I'm not sure which year, dulu main market tak ada. Dia ada second board and main board. They call it main board and second board. But now they combine main board and second board and it becomes main market. Nanti kita tengok apa kriteria dia jadi main market ni. It is a merging of main board and second board. We also have Ace Market. Ace Market ni revamp of Mesdec. Mesdec dah tak ada. Now Mesdec dah jadi Ace Market. And this new framework is actually aimed at allowing efficient access to capital and investment to make Bursa Malaysia more attractive platform. Kita nak juga foreign investment masuk dekat dalam Malaysia ni. So in order for us to become more competitive and attractive, that is why they restructure starting 2009. Okay. So when we look at Ace Market ni is actually focusing on high growth and technology company. So company yang ada kaitan dengan teknologi ni, kalau dekat US kita ada Silicon Valley kan. So all these Apple companies pun duduk dekat Silicon Valley tu. So it's like Ace Market lah kalau dekat Malaysia ni, high growth and technology based company. Okay. Okay, this is the new market, Leap Market. Leap Market ni introduced in July 2017. Leap is actually for Leading Entrepreneur Accelerator Platform in July 2017. So it is an advisor-driven market which aims to provide emerging companies, including small and medium-sized enterprise with greater fundraising access and visibility via the capital market. Okay, tapi untuk yang ni main market and also Ace Market ni, it is open to everybody, including you and me. But need for the public But for Leap Market ni bukan untuk semua. It is only for, you see, the service capital market service ni label them as sophisticated investor. Bunyi sophisticated investor. Who are sophisticated investors? Okay, saya share dekat sini. We have sophisticated investor. I think I cannot share macam ni because you all nampak saya punya PowerPoint je kan. The screen yang sekarang ni nampak tak? Ke nampak PowerPoint je?
Nampak PowerPoint je, Doktor.
Nampak PowerPoint je sekejap. Share. Okay. So ini maksud sophisticated investor Bunyi macam canggih kan? Okay, memang canggih lah. So it's not you and me. It's number one, sophisticated investors. This is updated as of July. Accredited investor, for example, unit trust scheme, private retirement scheme, or prescribed investment scheme, bank negara, licensed person or registered person, and so on. Bank licensee, insurance licensee, Islamic bank. So accredited investor, it can be bank negara, unit trust scheme, commercial banks. They are accredited investors, so they are under the categories of sophisticated investors or high net worth entities, company yang corporation that public company, company berhad public company with asset under its management exceeding 10 million ringgit. Company kecil-kecil tak main lah mesti high net worth entities. These are the only investors yang boleh trade dekat Leap Market tadi. Sebab Leap Market tadi is SME So yang boleh bantu all these SME are ni tadilah, the accredited investor, the banks, high net worth entity, okay, company yang ada more than 10 million ringgit dalam dia punya asset. Okay, ataupun total net asset exceeding 10 million ringgit in foreign currency. Okay, this is not me but I'm not sure about you. High net worth individuals. Individual, bukan company, orang, tapi yang high net worth lah, orang kaya lah. Contoh kita ada dekat sini, for example, we have Syed Muhtar Abu Kari, okay, one of the high net worth individual in Malaysia. Total net personal asset exceeding 3 million ringgit or its equivalent in foreign currencies. Ataupun those who has annual gross income exceeding 300,000 ringgit. Orang-orang ni bolehlah melabur ataupun beli trading dalam Leap Market tadi. Yang lain-lain tu tak boleh. So this act ni categorize sophisticated investors as these three types of investors sahaja. Accredited investors, high net worth entities, and also high net worth individuals. So next time when we listen to someone or some talks that mention about sophisticated investors, then you don't tak boleh fikir sophisticated investor tu apa. So at least I can share with you what does it mean by sophisticated investor. Right, so let's go back to our slide. Okay, right. So again, so this one is accessible only to sophisticated investor. Kita tengok tadi ada 3 kategori tu. yang boleh access this market. But for this one, doesn't matter. Semua orang pun boleh. Not necessarily you come from, you are not necessarily the sophisticated investors. Alright, just now we look at the functions of SC. So here is the function of Bursa Malaysia. Number one, to regulate and maintain facilities for conducting the business of a stock exchange in Malaysia. To promote and develop capital market and protect interest and welfare of members. So they want to take care of the shareholders. To consistently strive towards higher standards to ensure transparent, fair and orderly market by instituting a policy of market surveillance and corporate disclosure. So Bursa Malaysia decide what information does company has to provide, what information does company have to share with the shareholders, who are the shareholders, what is the amount of net assets or the liability or the debt that the company must have in order for them to continually be listed under the Bursa Malaysia listing requirements. So they have a very rigid listing requirements in order for you to list the company in Bursa Malaysia exchange. They also provide an enact listing requirements, baru je saya cakap tadi lah, and enforcement of rules on listed companies, and also they offer competitive securities and derivative products and services. So I will share with you the websites later, but before that we are going to look at the indexes by Bursa Malaysia dulu. Dalam slide I don't think ada listing requirements. Alright, this is Bursa Malaysia website, bursamalaysia.com. Okay, so whatever information that you need, you can go to this website. Kenal pasti, semak lapor, tak nak scam. Semua scam ni, this is to educate the investor, because sekarang ni banyak sangat yang too good to be true investment kan. Dia kata, okay, you melabur 10,000, you duduk saja je. Dalam masa 2 minggu dapat return 40%. Kalau bunyi too good to be true, biasanya scam lah tu. And then nanti bila sampai time yang you will get your return, then the orang yang offer tu dah tak ada lah. Alright, so these are the market information. All the information you can browse this website. So we're looking at the listing requirements. Contohnya, kita ada listing criteria. Contohnya, okay, listing process. Listing criteria, okay. So tadi kita tengok main market. So main market ni untuk there are certain types of certain number of ataupun minimum profit dan juga minimum size in order for the company to be able to be listed under the main market. And ACE market tadi, market driven growth prospect, dulu nama dia MASDAQ, and then lead market. So samalah. So for example, kita nak tengok listing requirements untuk main market. Okay. Admission. Mana dia punya specific applicants. General. So these are the chapters lah. Dia buat ikut chapter. What do company have to follow in order for you to be listed under the main market? To be listed under ACE market. So these are the listing requirements juga. Guidance tengok ni ada apa. slow dah. Alright, never mind. But this is where you can find the rules, the regulations, and how do company actually have to follow in order for them to be listed in the Bursa Malaysia ni. So memang ada dekat sini lah. The main market is market. We also have lead market, FAQ pun ada. So later kita boleh tengok on derivative, on bond and on Islamic. Labuan pun ada dekat sini, the offshore market tu. Alright. So okay, this is the trade. Boleh tengok the different types of market. All these are actually capital market. Ada produk dia. Okay, semua ada dekat sini lah. Contoh equity. Okay, dia ada explain dekat sini. Apa yang dia ada. Equity ni apa. So if you need further details, you want to know more about contoh equity. You want to know about equity. You can go to this website. And you can read. Okay, ordinary share ni apa. Preference share ni apa. Later kita ada jugalah dalam notes. So for example bond. Kalau nak tengok bond nanti ada explanation dekat sini. Alright, Islamic market pun ada cerita. Apa maksud Islamic market ni? So ada bursa al-sila ni. Okay. Right. So these are the functions of Bursa Malaysia. And then next we have the indexes or average. Those yang pernah pergi, nanti senang you all can go to KL, boleh tengok bursa dekat depan ni ada dua haiwan ni. So ada bull and bear. So bila kita kata bullish tu, market bull tu naik lah, bearish tu turun. So this is the term juga yang dipakai untuk market, bullish or bearish. So here we have indexes or average. Index or an average is a form of measurement of the performance of a particular stock market. Alright. It gives an indication of how well is the market, whether it is bullish or bearish. So kita ada dua jenis, yang one is index, another one is average. So index is the current price behavior of a representative group of stocks in relation to a base value set at an early point in time. And also we have average, arithmetic average price behavior of a representative group of stocks at a given point of time. Okay. So tadi kita dah tengok index is actually a form of measurement to measure the performance. So we want to know whether the performance of the market, is it good or is it not good. So we use this index or average. It is also a benchmark to measure a portfolio's performance. Later on nanti you belajar investment portfolio, then you will learn more about the market. To forecast future market behavior of a particular stock market. Right, we also have examples of index. We have Dow Jones, industry average. We have Nikkei index, DAX, S&P, Hang Seng, FTSE. FTSE ni sebutan dia FTSE. Kita tak sebut FTSE panjang. FTSE. FTSE stand for Financial Times Stock Exchange 100. Biasanya FTSE 100 ni means the largest 100 company in the UK. FTSE ni London punya. So FTSE 100, largest 100 company. Kita ada Singapore Straits Time Index, Seoul Composite Index, Sydney All Ordinaries Index, and many more. So kalau nak tengok the index, is it high, is it low compared to the other index, then we know the performance. Is it good or bad? So for Bursa Malaysia, Bursa and FTSE Group joined forces in 2006 to launch the market data. Okay. So the market data yang kita ada ni designed to represent the performance of companies, providing investors with a comprehensive and complementary set of indexes which measure the performance of the major capital and industry segments of the Malaysian and regional market. So all Malaysian companies listed on the Bursa Malaysia main market and age market tadi are eligible for inclusion, subject to meeting FTSE's international standards of free float, liquidity and investability. So in order for companies to be included in the FTSE ni, they have to meet certain requirements. They have to be very good company to be included in this FTSE index. So the FTSE Bursa Malaysia Index ni, they allow investors to do cross-border analysis and comparison and also provide transparency to the management of the index series. So it covers all stock size within the market. So when we have indexes of the international standards, sebab bila combine bursa combine dengan FTSE tadi saya kata London Times. So bila combine ni, so kita akan ada satu what we call an international standard lah. So when we have an international standard, so foreign investment akan tengok this apa ni FTSE Bursa Malaysia Index ni, then they know, okay, these are the company that really maintain their, you know, the liquidity and investability, right? So these are the different types of Bursa Malaysia Index yang kita ada dekat Malaysia ni. Right, number one, we have FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI. So who are they? Siapa company yang masuk dalam sini? Ini ialah top 30 company in Malaysia. Okay, top 30 company in Malaysia. Kita ada FTSE Bursa Malaysia mid 70. Okay, dia asal macam ni, dia ada top 100. FTSE Bursa Malaysia top 100, ada 100 top company in Malaysia. Dari segi company yang besar, company yang tinggi market capitalization dia, company yang mahal harga saham dia, top 100 company. Dalam top 100 ni, the top 30 yang the cream one, the cream 30 will be under FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI. Beza kan? Ini top 100, ini KLCI. KLCI top 30. Ada lagi satu mid 70. So the remaining 70 lah. Top 30 kat sini, 70 kat sini, combine dua-dua ni dapat yang ni. Boleh faham kan? Okay. We also have FTSE Bursa Malaysia Small Cap Index. Small Cap. Kat sini ada explanation tak? Small Cap. Okay. Tak apa So small cap ni untuk 98%. 98% of this one boleh masuk juga dekat sini. FTSE Bursa Malaysia Emas Index. Emas Index ni FTSE 100 ni tambah dengan small cap. Ni emas ni ialah 100 tambah dengan yang ni dapat emas index. Kita ada juga FTSE Bursa Malaysia Fledgling Index. Kita ada FTSE Bursa ACE Index. Which means, okay, from here kita ada FTSE Bursa Malaysia Emas Industry Index juga. Kita ada emas syariah. Ini yang syariah lah. Yang syariah compliant index, syariah compliant companies. Sebab dalam ni ada yang syariah, ada yang non syariah. Ada Hijrah Syariah Index dengan Palm Oil Plantation Index. Ada juga FTSE Asia Pacific. So in Bursa Malaysia ni, dalam Bursa Malaysia ni we have several indexes. Jadinya investor ni dia ada comprehensive set of data. So if they want to invest in Malaysia, they have these different types of indexes. So they know, okay, mana satu dia nak pergi kan. Kalau not here, then can go here. Not here, oh ada juga syariah. So they can go here, they can invest here. So this index ni will give the performance of the capital and industry segment of the Malaysia and also in the regional market. So it is very helpful, and since we combine, tadi saya kata kita combine dengan FTSE, yang kita bukan short sendiri je because we follow FTSE standard. So these are all actually considered as internationally recognized. Internationally recognized standard. Recognized standard. Right? So again, first one for FTSE Bursa Malaysia Composite Index tadi, it is actually the main performance indicator. Inilah, sini the top 30 ni. 30 stocks in the main board of Bursa Malaysia. Okay, you might want to know siapa top 30 ni kan? Okay, I can name, maybe you can teka. Anyone nak teka? Siapa top 30, you rasa top 30 company kat dalam Malaysia ni? Ada tak? Even the banks of your assignments too, some of the banks are actually in this category. Anyone nak cuba top 30 company in Malaysia?
Is it Axiata?
Axiata, okay. Ada?
Petronas?
Petronas, yes. Ada. Tengok, you all can name the big company lagi.
Sime
Kita ada
Darby.
Axiata, kita ada Petronas, kita ada Sime Darby. Tak ada orang nak sebut bank ke?
Maybank.
Maybank, yes. We have Maybank. Kita ada TNB, kita ada DG, kita ada Maxis. So all these are actually the top 30 company. Kalau kita kira dalam FTSE ni, they are the top 30. The list tu keep changing from year to year. You have to maintain lah the position of the top 30 tu. Kita ada juga Hong Leong Bank, RHB, CIMB, Nestle. Jangan lupa Nestle, kita minum Milo, makan biskut semua tu kan. Minum Milo, minum Nescafe. So Nestle pun top 30 company. So the next 70, bawah dia lah. Ada mid 70 index. So kita ada 100 company. You can Google juga to look at the list of stocks lah listed dalam kita punya main board ni. And this company that you all mentioned ni, the share price dia memang sangat tinggi lah. Okay. What are the criteria to be included under the Malaysian Top 100 Index ni? Okay, kriteria dia bukan boleh suka-suka je kan. So KLCI ni is the 30, top 30 tadi, plus the remaining 70. Number one, the activities or the main business of a company has substantial contribution to the economy. Axiata, Maxis, DG, semua telecommunication kan. We have Maybank, we have Petronas. So all these business are actually substantial contribution to the economy. Of course, large market capitalization, company besar, annual value dia besar. And if there is a newly listed company, it must be traded at least 3 months in order for the company to be included in this top 100. So this is the function of bursa lah. They only jaga the top 100 ni so that other foreign investment pun will look at the list of these component stocks. Kita panggil constituents. The company tu dia panggil constituents. I think saya masih ada lagi kot the top 100. Kejap saya share. Alright, ini if you go for top 100 for overall performance and corporate governance pun ada juga So for example here, kejap. Ini ialah for 2019 Maybank, Petronas, British American Tobacco, Petronas Chemical, Bank, DG, Alliance, Sime Darby, RHB, MBSB, Top Glove, banyak So dia pecahkan ikut ni lah. Astro, Telecom, IJM, Sunway, ni semua construction Takaful, BMW, Axiata, SP Setia pun construction, Westport, Nestle, Heineken pun ada, alkohol, Maxis, Bermas Auto, kereta Carlsberg, banyak lah. Sampai lah 100. Kedangan investment, Genting Plantation, Apex Healthcare, Dutch Lady, Berjaya Sports. But like I said, these are including the syariah and non-syariah. Dia bukan masuk dalam syariah index lah. So kalau syariah, syariah sahaja. Right. Okay, how do we calculate the composite index? Kalau kita nampak tadi dekat sini kan, okay, kita kata top 100 index, kita ada top 30, top 70, kita ada emas index. So how do we actually compute the composite index ni? Okay, this is the formula. It is actually the aggregate market value on current date. Let's say you want to calculate the composite index as of today. Berapa bulan hari ni? Right, so as of today on current date, divided by aggregate market value on base date, katakan untuk tahun ni nak start dari Januari times 100. How do we get what is the aggregate market value ni? Saya tambah pula formula dekat sini. Aggregate market value ialah market price times number of shares outstanding. That is why dia jadi tinggi lah sebab all these top 30 company ni biasanya like I said the market price is quite high. Satu unit saham dia boleh jadi RM23. So can you multiply lah RM23 untuk satu dia ada millions of number of share outstanding so darab lah. Okay. We also have brokerage firms. These are the intermediaries between the client and the exchange. Okay, types of market. Again, this is again still for equity. So we know tadi dalam equity kita ada stock, kita ada bond, kita ada shares, dan kita ada juga indexes, kita ada different types of market dalam bursa. So the different types ni we have primary and also secondary market. Again about equity and about shares ni. So these are the market where securities are created. Primary market, and the first time nak create ataupun nak jual the securities tu for the first time. Terus tengok the difference teruslah dekat sini. Are created, but for secondary market ni securities are traded and not issued by the issuer but by another investor. Alright, for example, when ada one company XYZ contohnya baru nak terbitkan saham pada public, kita panggil IPO. The process is called IPO, Initial Public Offerings. The issue prospectus. The document is, the brochure is called prospectus. Prospectus. Okay. So the first time dia nak invite public to beli dia punya share, it is a primary market. Once share tu dah masuk dalam market, dah actively traded, itu dah jadi secondary market. Maknanya you and me can buy and sell. Itulah kata pasaran dibuka pukul 9, market bursa dia buka pukul 9, dia tutup pukul 5. So this 9 to 5 ni is the trading period. Public holiday tutup, Sabtu Ahad tutup. Okay, so whatever trading happen between this time, this is actually under the secondary market, traded but not issued by the issuer but another investor. So kalau primary trade for the first time, market or previously issued securities, itu nama dia secondary. So for the first time ni, primary market issued by the issuer and the issuer receive cash proceeds from the new issue. Company XYZ tadi baru terbitkan saham, dia dapat saham dan dia bayar cash pada orang yang bayar cash. Dia dapat cash lah daripada orang yang beli saham dia. But this one, the issuer does not receive the proceeds but goes to the current owner. Contohnya, saya beli saham daripada orang yang biasa kita tak kenal lah, when you do the trading kan. Saya beli berapa lot katakan, then saya jual balik besok. So the money ni dia circulate dekat dalam secondary market. Dia tak pergi pada issuer tu. Cuma the price tu naik turun, nanti the issuer ni, the company akan kira dalam bentuk market cap tadi lah, dalam bentuk ni. Market price dia. Lagi banyak orang nak saham dia, lagi tinggi harga saham dia kan. So lagi bagus. So this is the process here for the primary market is called IPO, Initial Public Offerings. But for the secondary market ni, we need an organized securities exchange. And this is actually provided by Bursa Malaysia lah. Okay. So ada banyak trading facilities yang boleh bantu kita untuk buat the trading ni. But these are all organized by Bursa Malaysia. Alright, so this is IPO, Initial Public Offerings. For the first time tadi, for the primary market. It is actually invitation to public. They invite public. Okay, hello public. I want to issue share. Do you want to buy for the first time? An invitation to public to be the shareholder. Sekarang katakan company ni dia sendirian berhad. Sendirian berhad kita tahu sendirian berhad ni smaller company. When you want to go public, biasanya the term we use that you want to go public means they want to list their share in bursa, in the stock exchange. But first of all, what they have to do is to do IPO lah, Initial Public Offering. So they invite the public to beli dia punya share so that the securities can be listed in exchange. Why they want to get listed? Kenapa daripada sendirian berhad dia nak move jadi berhad? So the reason one is to raise funds for business expansion. So when the business is good, the business is booming, they need more money untuk expand, nak tambah cawangan dekat overseas ke mana ke, nak beli equipment ke, nak set up macam tadi lah, nak set up subsidiary dekat overseas ataupun need more equipment, need more machine. So they need fund. How do they need these funds? Sebab kalau sendirian berhad, fundnya limited. Let's say sendirian berhad kan bilangan shareholders ada up to 20 je. So duit datang daripada 20 orang ni je. So very small. So they need more money. What they can do is they can go for public listing to get extra fund. To settle debts, hutang banyak sangat. Need money to settle that, nak settle loan dia, nak settle loan. So they do public IPO, Initial Public Offering. To enhance credibility and reputation. Okay, this is good sebab apa? Small company, they want to go public, they want to be visible to the rest of the world. When you are listed, especially bila kita tengok tadi kan, You go to main market, ACE market, lead market, you have a very strict listing requirement. You kena maintain profit for how many years? Profit you kena ada certain amount of millions katakan. So very strict requirement. If you can follow that requirements, you can meet if you can meet, the company can meet the strict requirement ni, kita kata strict lah, strict requirement, we can say that your company is actually a high reputation company. Okay, whichever company listed ni, kita boleh kata dia high reputation because they can follow the strict requirements to be listed. In other words, it can enhance their reputation. Okay, they should be able to set a more professionally managed corporation. Professionally managed in this sense means that when they get listed, so with companies listed in bursa, dia ada banyak requirement that they have to follow. Among other things is the disclosure of information. Dia kena prepare annual report. Kan? So dalam annual report tu ada certain information yang dia kena buat. So eventually the company will be kita kata properly organised. Because you have to follow this strict requirement. You tak boleh cincai-cincai je like we are sendirian berhad, suka hatilah. Rasa macam tak nak, you know. You just follow the minimum requirements je. But here you have to follow a strict requirement so you can be more professionally managed, more professionally organised in terms of reporting. So ada certain information that you have to report to bursa ni. So we can see that it will be more professionally managed. And of course to obtain easier funds for future expansion. Sama point macam yang atas ni tadi lah. Alright, so the process for IPO ni, katakanlah you are a sendirian berhad company, you want to go public, kita kata you want to go public lah. Want to go public, want to get listed. What you should do is number one, of course, definitely you have to get approval from the current shareholder. Ni ada 20 orang shareholders kan dalam company sendirian berhad ni. 2 orang je kata, jom kita go public. Yang lain tu tak nak, tak setuju. No, tak boleh. You must get approval from the current shareholders. Tak dapat approval, you have to go through the auditors, go through the lawyers untuk kita kata approve all the documents. Untuk certify all the documents that what you do is actually legit, what the business ni semua cukup lah. Ada organisation chart, ada CEO, ada staff ni, company staff pun tak ada. And then you want to go public kan. So you have at least the minimum criteria and also you get advice. Paling penting lah. In order for the company to go for IPO, they will get advice from investment bank. Nah, ingat lagi masa kita buat topik awal-awal tu, kita tengok the function of investment bank ni, satu is to facilitate IPO. Okay, so inilah. So when the company wants to go for listing, they will go to investment bank, okay, to help them process the listing. So investment bank ni will provide advisory role or advisory service on any major financial transaction and specialize in advising firms on new issues of securities. So the bank will advise you go to contohnya CIMB investment bank kan. Okay. So the investment bank will advise, alright, with this kind of capital, with this kind of business, what type of security that you can offer. Dia kata, okay, you offer ordinary share cukup. You don't need to offer preference share. Pun boleh. Ataupun you offer both preference shares and ordinary shares. Okay. Ataupun the feature of the security. Okay, ordinary share ni nak berapa ringgit par value dia. Berapa banyak nak issue, the pricing, harga dia mula issue 50 sen ke RM1 ke, right, the par value tu. So this will be advised by the investment bank. The timing of the issue, is it now, is it next month, is it next year? So dia akan advise bila masa yang sesuai untuk kita kata issue the IPO. So that's basically the function of investment bank. Dia itu yang dia akan tolong the company in order for them to go public. Alright. And then when we talk about IPO ni tadi, saya kata the document is the prospectus. Prospectus ni macam brochure lah. Of course lah kan, you nak panggil public, you want to invite public. Okay, come public, buy my share. You have to have one document so that I and you and anybody that are interested to buy the company's share, we want to know information such as details of the new issue, bila dia nak issue, berapa ringgit, par value, bila tutup, closing date dia bila. And then we want to know, nama pun tadi company XYZ, we want to know, kita nak invest dalam company tu, we want to know company ni buat apa. Business dia involved in apa kan, what business that the company does. And we also want to know siapa director dia, siapa management team dia, because sometimes kena olah nama director, ini director Samsung ni Datuk mana yang suka pukul orang ni, contoh kan. So we don't want that, kita tak nak controversial punya ni. So we want to know the management, the boss dia, the management team dia, the other share of ownership, siapa lagi pegang saham dia tu and the financial condition dia. Tadi kan salah satu function tadi kata nak settle debt kan. Kita tak minat lah nak tengok dia punya financial statement dia, hutang dia memang sangat banyak. So some people okay fine with it kan, some tak nak lah. Debt dia banyak sangat so the financial condition is not good. Auditor's report dia kita nak tengok juga, audit report dia bagus ke tak, auditor dia komen apa berkenaan dengan auditor's report dia. Kita nak tengok juga the management discussion dalam tu, the vision, the mission of the company. We want to know kan, company nak jadi apa, in 10 years time dia nak jadi apa, where the position would be. So we want to know all this information, the risk factor. Katakan company ni okay, katakan dia involved in food industry, so kita kata okay, makanan memang tak ada masalah. Ataupun tengok company ni involved in alcohol, katakan macam yang kontroversi baru ni nama company tu dia guna the brand name, dia guna nama timah dengan gambar orang janggut-janggut apa semua tu. Maksudnya benda lain tapi orang kata kontroversi because of benda lain So those things the risk factor. So bila menjadi macam tu, you think harga saham dia akan naik ke because of that controversy and issue of course the share price will go down. So kita tak nak macam tu lah. Bila kita beli, kita nak harga tu naik so that bila kita jual, kita boleh dapat untung. So we do want to know the types of risk macam awal-awal masa COVID dulu, Top Glove, saham dia memang mencanak naik lah sebab dia company yang buat glove kan, dia buat medical glove. And then now, lepas tu pula company yang buat mask, facial mask ni, so harga saham dia memang boom. Lepas tu company yang buat vaksin. Ni nampak tak the trend tu kan? Kat mana kita the global punya issue tu macam mana? And then what happened to the different types of company ni macam mana? So and then masa tu juga kita tengok kan the hotel industry, what happened? Hotel semua kena tutup, nobody can travel. What happened to the hotel industry? Memang down. So certain industry will go up, certain industry will go down depending on the global situation. So unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic ni memang kita nampak give the adverse effect to most of the industries lah, except for industri makanan. Tapi yang boom pula, kita tengok industri food delivery kan, kita ada Panda, Grab apa semua tu, itu semua naik, demand tinggi. Before this macam so-so je kan. Tapi bila semua orang kena duduk diam-diam kat rumah, semua orang tak nak keluar, so that business naik. So the risk tu depends lah on the different types of industry and depends on the timing juga because once upon a time the hotel punya industry tu sangat booming kan during cuti sekolah or festive season, hujung tahun, Christmas semua tu, school holiday, sangat tinggi the demand kan. Tapi bila macam sekarang ni now dah start balik buka, the demand is there. Tapi itulah, the demand is there but the risk is still there. Okay, next is again on IPO juga. Kita nak tengok this is the primary marketnya. Important function of investment tadi, underwriting function. So what is underwriting? Mungkin dengar perkataan underwriting ni like taking of risk of buying all shares offered by the issuing company and resell it in the market at an agreed price. Okay, this is the risk taken by investment bank. Okay, tadi saya kata dia bantu bagi advice, they help, they give advice, bagi advisory services kepada firms yang nak issue new securities. Okay, but what happened is that the investment bank also play a role as underwriter. So as an underwriter, remember IPO kan, baru nak sell new shares kepada public for the first time. Apa investment bank ni buat ialah dia ambil the risk, they buy all the shares offered ni by the issuing company and resell it in the market. So bank dia beli dulu, dia beli dan dijual balik at an agreed price lah with the company. So the burden of not being able to sell all shares ni borne by the investment bank, not by the company. Company XYZ tadi ingat dia nak terbitkan saham pada public, dia pergi dekat CIMB beli dulu semua saham dia, CIMB jual balik pada kita. So the risk of not being able to sell dia dekat bank, bukan dekat issuer tu lah. Sebab dia dah agree lah, so dia dah bayar terus dekat bank kan, and then bank tu jual at a certain price. Okay, risk of investing in the stock market. Okay, saya tunjuk risk dulu, nanti saya tunjukkan the view where how do you actually can monitor or can do the trading. Alright, so if we invest in the stock market, remember return comes with risk kan, tak ada duduk goyang kaki boleh dapat untung berjuta, tak ada there's no such thing. So with if you want to embark on investing in the stock market, you must take into consideration the different types of risk that you have to face. So for example, we have business risk, financial risk, purchasing power risk, liquidity risk, banyaknya risk nak kena ingat kan, interest rate risk, and also market risk. So let's look at one by one. Business risk, okay. Business risk, namanya pun business risk, it is related to the nature of the business. Again, I explained just now, so different industry may have different level of risk. So one time, Top Glove dengan pergi company, saya tak ingat nama dia. So the share price dia sangat tinggi because of the demand kan. Orang nak semua tempat nak glove, semua tempat nak PPE masa tu, semua tempat nak mask. Facial mask yang macam-macam design macam-macam tu lah kan, whether it is medical ataupun non-medical. Hotel industry, tourism industry. So that is the nature of the business. So different industry may have different level of risk. Financial risk. Okay, financial risk, finance, keyword dia dekat sini. Maybe the risk of the company has due to a high level of borrowing, banyak sangat hutang. So there is an uncertainty due to the mixture of debt and also equity. So this, when you want to invest, you have to look at certain company tu, whether dia ada business risk ke, dia ada financial risk ke. Purchasing power risk. Okay, purchasing power is related to inflation. Okay, the risk of losing purchasing power when the investment return is unable to match the inflation rate. For example, during the period of increase in price level, harga makin naik, purchasing power akan turun. So dia inverse relationship. So increase price level, purchasing power will go down. And kalau harga pun turun, purchasing power will go up balik. And vice versa. So dia relationship dia inverse lah. Next one is liquidity market. Alright, again liquidity market pula. Liquidity risk. So kita dah belajar about liquidity risk, which means that this stock may not be able to be converted into cash at a reasonable price. Okay. So lagi, the more inconvenient it is to be liquidated, the higher is the liquidity risk. Okay, itu liquidity lah, kita nak convert into cash. Interest rate risk. Okay, interest rate, changes in the interest rate will adversely affect the value of security. Okay, it can also affect the stock market as a decline in interest rate can lead to a better market because cheaper funds are available for investment purposes. Okay, market risk. Variability of returns to the changes in the market as a whole and as a result of a number of risks combined, such as inflation, interest rate, and tax risk. So these are actually due to changes in political situation, social events, economic, and changes in investor taste and preference. Lebih kurang dengan business tadi lah. Business tadi nature of the business kan. Contoh macam baru semalam baca news tu kan, dekat Kedah, the MB kata, okay, company gambling semua dah tak ada, dia tak renew license dah. Risiko tu. Sebabnya what will happen kan, okay, untuk yang gambling apa semua ni, dia tak bagi license. Okay, what will happen? So itu antara the risk lah and the business risk because of the industry tu. Right? So before we proceed, let me share with you Screener. Right. Okay, here this is actually nak kata for sophisticated, tak sophisticated sangat lah, but this will actually help you to choose. Kalau tadi kan kita tengok, okay, this ada risk, all the different types of risk. How do you decide which company for you to invest? Sekarang assuming that now you dah ada CDS account, you dah ada duit dekat dalam tu, you want to trade, you want to buy share. This is the secondary market, bukan primary market. Primary market kejap lagi saya tunjuk kalau ada prospectus. This is the secondary market. You buy and sell in the secondary market through bursa. So kita ada satu website, we call it Bursa Marketplace. Bursa Malaysia punya lah. We have Bursa Marketplace, nampak? You can open trading account dekat sini. This is a screener. What would you like to screen? Okay, you nak screen stock, boleh warrants, boleh kita screen stocks lah. Kita tengah belajar stock sekarang kan. Okay, this is analyst recommendation. Okay, kita tak payah fikir, analyst dah buat dah. You nak, sekarang you nak apa? You want to buy, let's say I want to buy. Okay, I want to buy. Or you want to hold, or you want to cari company yang outperform, or you want to sell. Now let's say I want to buy industry, tak kisah industri apa. Nampak industri ada basic, ada non-energy, financial, healthcare. So doesn't matter lah industri apa kita nak So if you want to buy, nampak dia punya matches dia ada 46 je. Sekejap. Ada advanced screener tak kan? Dia tak ada syariah pun dia dekat sini. Sekejap. Kalau dekat phone ada, kita pergi advanced screener sekejap. Alah. Kena login pula dah nak. Alright, so this is the example. Katakan kita nak buy, kita nak all industry. Ini semua you boleh pilih lah if you understand, let's say you nak PE ratio berapa. Or you nak dividend yield berapa. So this will help you. So now, you don't really need a broker or reminder to help you. Kalau ada lagi bagus lah because they can do the analysis for you. But if you are baru nak start and you want to start small, you can use this to screen. So let's say kita ada 46 matches. Sekarang ni kita nak beli Okay, kita pergi 46 matches. Apa kita ada kat sini? Saya tak keluar. Okay, here. Inilah. Contohnya, this is the rating. Jadi kita tengok juga rating. These are the company contohnya that you can buy. Boiler Mac ni saya baru beli last week tapi harga dia tak naik pun. Bohong je lah. So these are the company that you can choose from untuk beli. Ini harga dia, price dia. 118 unit. This is the market cap. This is analyst recommendation untuk buy. Ada juga recommendation katakan kita nak untuk sell. Ada 6 je. So if you own this share, you better sell. Station White Horse. Okay, ini because kita tadi pilih stock. Kita nak screen stock. So this is a screener. Kita ada juga lagi satu. This is one you already have the, katakan you dah ada shares. You already in the market. You already in the trading. Here kita ada. Okay. Remember last week I talked to you about fundamental and technical analysis. These are the analysis. Ini data live Sekarang stock tengah berjalan lagi, nampak the movement ni. So untuk ni saya sendiri punya ada certain company yang saya monitor lah. So you can watch list kat sini, boleh monitor company apa. GDEX ke apa ke, contoh MGB or ni boiler tadi. So dia adalah dekat sini So this is the chart dia, kita nak baca dalam kotak yang purple ni. So ini kalau you tak ada kerja lain nak buat you invest a lot and you sit down, duduk je depan komputer tengok je benda ni. So that you know bila when is the right point for you to buy or to sell. Dia ada advice dekat sini juga because now you learn all these thing already and you understand. If people yang tak learn and dia tak understand pun, dia actually boleh involve in this trading So here kita ada Haikin Ashi ni. So dekat sini dia adalah harga dia sepanjang hari ni daripada 995 sampai 1.01. So statistik dia ada semua dekat bawah ni. And then dia ada recommendation dekat sini. Sekarang dia duduk dekat strong sell. So if you own this share, you better sell. Nampak tak dia bergerak? You all can see my screen kan? Yes, nampak dia bergerak kan?
Nampak.
Sebab market tengah berjalan ni, tengah buka dan tengah naik turun. So dia bergerak. daripada strong sell. Jadi kita tengok dekat company lain pula apa dia kata kita kena buat dekat company ni. Okay, dia duduk dekat sell dan dia tak bergerak. Yang tadi tu still moving kan, ni bergerak tak banyak sangat lah. Sometimes end of the day dia pergi ke sini, dia pergi ke buy ataupun dia pergi ke neutral. Tengok agenda ni apa? Okay, neutral. Nak beli boleh, nak buy pun boleh. Nampak dia punya. This is the technical analysis Kita cerita technical analysis malam kan. So saya tak tunjuk lah how do they calculate, tapi this is how they do it. Dia forecast berapa puluh minggu punya. So inilah, bila you reach this level ni bagus untuk jual. You will make macam ni kan, harga di tengah naik ni masa-masa ni elok jual lah. So you can make profit. Tapi kalau kat sini baru nak naik balik ni, kalau ada then tunggulah, jangan jual lagi. Buatlah dia naik lagi kan. Macam dia flop ke bawah ni, kalau dah rasa give up then sell je lah. So kalau keluar daripada ni maknanya ini ada harapan lah ni memang akan rugi banyak lah. So macam ni dia neutral So ada macam, because you can choose dekat watchlist ni boleh pilih company apa nak. Then the type of, dia macam-macam kat sini lah. Tapi ni nanti you akan belajar, I think dalam subjek portfolio nanti kot, you will learn about this. Macam ni dia suruh sell juga. Semua suruh sell je, tak suruh buy. Focus point pun teruk rasanya. Focus point dia suruh buy. Boleh buy lah. Dia kadang-kadang kan, dia pergi dekat strong buy. Kalau dekat strong buy tu kita berasa macam, okay nak kena beli ni kan. Because of the analysis ni kata, okay you better buy. Harga tengah bagus, you better buy. Ataupun macam tadi kan, strong sell yang tengah mana yang teruk tadi, yang ni Dia kata, sesudahlah tu, kalau ada tolonglah nampak. Gerak laju Memang kena jual je boiler ni. Strong sell. Okay. So these are the person ataupun the charts yang kita kata buat the technical and fundamental analysis. Kita sebagai user, this is nama dia trading view. Free je benda ni. You can subscribe. Kalau dah nak dapat feature yang premium, kena bayar lah. This is the basic je. Basic pun dah cukup dah. For me dah cukup dah lah. This is trading view. So tadi kita cerita risk kan. And then this is how to pick stocks lah. How you want to invest. And how do we know whether stock ni bagus ataupun tidak, which based on the risk tadi tu kita tengok tadi tu the theoretical part lah but now we know okay apa risk dia, apa company ni buat apa. For example untuk this one you know, kita boleh baca lah boiler Mac ni dia buat apa, investment company, manufacturer of biomass boiler. Okay, macam focus point ada cerita lah kat sini. Focus point ni buat apa, operation of eye care center. Focus point kan semua tahu macam GDEX. Okay, GDEX buat apa, dia explain dekat sini company ni buat apa. Okay, so expert delivery, logistic service, employee dia berapa orang, semua kita boleh klik kat sini lah kalau nak tengok Okay, cukup lah tunjuk magic untuk tu go back to our slide. Any question tak so far? Now that you have the knowledge nanti you pun boleh start
Doktor,
money.
kalau macam sekarang kan ada robot advisor tu kan? So is it recommended?
Depends dia boleh je nak guna yang tu, but it's good if you have your own kita buat research sendiri kita ada information sendiri. So now memang banyak. Ini pun dah dikira sebagai robot lah, because you are not talking to anyone kan. You buka screen je tengok semua benda dia dah explain, dia dah tunjuk pada kita mana satu bagus, mana satu tak bagus. Because dulu kita memang rely on broker on the intermediary, on orang tolong buatkan. And dulu saya tak tahu lah you all umur berapa masa tu kan, kalau dulu bursa dulu the way they trade kan, dia tunjuk kat dalam TV kan, jerit panggil dia buat manually jerit okay harga ni naik, okay tukar, harga ni turun, so sangat hectic. Now tak ada, now memang pakai teknologi je. And you can invest from anywhere pun. Okay. Okay, kita dah tengok the risk. So apa yang saya tunjuk tadi tu, all those are actually ordinary shares. Tadi kan kita tengok kan, kita boleh pilih stock ataupun warrants Tadi kita pilih stock. So itu tadi semua ialah stock, dan stock ni again in Malaysia kita pakai ordinary shares, tapi dekat dalam tu tadi dia pakai term stock jugalah. So sama je stock dengan shares ni. And it represents ownership in a company that issues the stock. Macam tadi kan kita klik focus point. Okay, kalau you beli maknanya you adalah shareholder kepada focus point tu. Which means if you don't want to trade, you beli je berapa lot and then you sit there tunggu cukup 3-4 bulan nanti dia akan bagi kita dividen lah. Tapi sikit lah because you tunggu kan. Kalau you nak make more money then kita jadi trader lah. Maknanya keep for short term je. Beli untuk jual balik. Ada juga yang beli tapi simpan. Tak nak jual balik, beli simpan lah. Tahun ke 2 tahun ke, tunggu dividen je pun boleh macam tu Because the common stock ni kita bagi, kita dapat ownership in terms of shareholder tu, and you will get dividend, which is the share of profit Satu kata claim on the earnings and asset of the company, and also entitled to any incremental profit. Tapi nampak macam senang ada advantages and disadvantages. Satu, variety of choices and liquidity. Macam tadi kan ada banyak, you can pilih you nak yang macam mana, nak PE tinggi ke rendah ke, nak yang profit ke, nak yang syariah ke. Easy to trade and low transaction cost. Very easy to trade tadi kan, you just view and then you tengok. Boleh guna phone macam ada banyak apps guna Kalau macam saya guna, saya pakai Maybank Trade. So dalam Maybank Trade tu ada option so that you can pilih lah. Dia link dengan account so you can buy and sell guna phone je, tak biasa susah fikir lah. So maknanya dalam tu ada the list of shares, so very easy to trade and low transaction cost Satu transaction adalah RM10 macam tu. Voting and preemptive right, and also sometimes it can yield to high returns Disadvantages dia, okay, nak determine the intrinsic value dia, okay, lower current income and also fluctuation of price. Ini memang sangat fluctuate. Tengok tadi kan, kejap dia duduk dekat sell, kejap dia duduk dekat buy. So harga dalam masa satu hari ni harga dia boleh naik turun So fluctuated a lot. So ini yang tadi lah the rights, right to vote. Okay, if you are a shareholder, you have the right to vote. You boleh pergi ke AGM, dia panggil annual general meeting. They call you as a shareholder, you have the right to vote on a major decision which can be made during the shareholders meeting. Ada juga dia bagi preemptive right, maknanya kita dah ada share dalam company Focus Point tadi contohnya. Bila Focus Point tu nak issue more shares, dia cari kita dulu. Means that kita ada preemptive right, kita dah own the share, we have the right untuk beli lagi share tu. They call it preemptive preemptive right, because you are the already a shareholder Easy to trade, okay, tadilah very easy boleh cari stockbroker, buka trading account, CDS account, you ready to trade. Stockbroker ni biasanya when you register kita ada satu kita panggil stockbroker ni ialah normally is the officer dekat bank tu lah. Bank mana yang kita buka trading account tu, dia jadi satu stockbroker. Tapi dia tak ada buat apa pun, kita cuma perlukan dia untuk buka the account je. Macam ni lah the step ni Open trading account, CDS account, you are ready to trade. Cost of transaction, stamp duties, brokerage fee and clearing fees are relatively reasonable. Okay, sebab tu bila stok yang harga murah, biasanya kita go by volume. Kalau harga dia 5 sen, you tak naklah beli 10 lot je. Kan, 5 sen, 1,000, satu lot 100 unit. Darab lah, takkan nak beli 5 sen, harga banyak tu 10 lot je. So you might want to go by volume. Kalau harga mahal, satu share unit dah RM20 satu unit. Kalau ada duit banyak, bolehlah beli banyak Otherwise, beli ikutlah kemampuan But biasanya, because the transaction fee ni, transaction cost dia by transaction. Dia ikut percentage by transaction So, kalau rugilah nanti kan you beli saham yang murah, volume pun rendah, tapi your transaction fee masih lagi RM10. Compare dengan you beli saham yang mahal, harga pun mahal, transaction fee RM10 juga Variety of choice, okay, again tadi kita boleh pilih kan, kita tengok tadi kita nak high PE ke, kita nak buy ke, kita nak sell ke, kita nak apa ke, semua kita boleh klik je tadi dekat bursa screener tu. And also the level of risk. Liquidity can easily be matched. Contohnya kalau you want to sell, macam tadi harga tengah naik turun kan, katakanlah you want to sell pada harga RM2 contohnya. Dia match RM2, automatically you can sell. Okay, dia kata can be matched especially during stock market, strong market where volume is high. Okay, high return sometimes. Okay, tapi dia fluctuate, sensitive to factors such as domestic or foreign economic constitution, uncertainties in political scenario, performance of foreign exchange, psychological factor and even manipulation. Okay, lower current income. So for example, company yang not performing well, dia tak akan bayar dividen yang bagus juga. Okay, so difficult in predicting the expected future earning. Susah lah, harga nak turun kan, so you do not know dia akan buat You untung ke, rugi ke? So the last part ni, mesti dah disadvantages. Okay, yang ni I think kita sambung next week lah kot. Boleh? Ke you nak continue je? Saya schedule meeting pukul 4. This one kita tengok next week boleh?
Boleh doktor.
Okay. So next week we'll continue again with our common stock ni. Tapi kita akan tengok lah type of common stock. Sometimes you dengar orang borak-borak kan dia sebut blue chip. Blue chip tu apa? So besok pula. Next week kita tengok the different types of common stocks. And then we also have the factors affecting the stock prices. We will look at that next week together with bond market. Because today kita buat capital market, so I've shown you especially the regulatory part. Kita dah tengok SC, kita tengok bursa, kita dah tengok juga the indexes tu. At least by now you know when people talk about top 100, top 30, they talk about FTSE. So FTSE now you know sebutnya FTSE, Financial Times tu index dia. So ada soalan tak? Saya kena tanda nak sambung mana next week. Nanti kalau lupa pula. Kita baru buat, because for capital market ni dia ada dua je kan, equity dengan bond je. So dalam equity, kita ada stock je. Sebab tu kita cerita banyak pasal stock. Kita ada stock dengan, kita ada ordinary share dengan preferred share lah. Tapi preferred share saya tak ada share sangat lah. Sebab dia preferred share ni, atau preferred stock ni dia lebih kepada company lain company lain cara ataupun lain dia kata criteria of the preferred stock tu. So jangan lupa later at 4 quiz foreign exchange market is ready and you are given until Monday next week untuk buat the quiz. So I think the marks untuk quiz pun semua boleh check sendiri kan. And saya tengok tak membimbangkan lah because the score semua dapat score quite high. Alright, any other questions?
So far now doktor.
Alright. Okay, so kalau tak ada soalan, that's all for today.
Thank you doktor.
Alright.
Thank you,
So
doktor.
tengok website bursa tu macam-macam ada tu. Alright, okay, see you next week.